Welcome to Stocks and Stacks, episode number 9 with Amanda in Mexico. How you doing today, Amanda?
I'm awesome. It's July 19th and we've still been green.
I know, it's crazy. We are having a market melt up of epic proportions. It reminds me of 2021. In 2021, the market was on fire. And then 2022, last year, the market crashed hard. And this year, the market has literally been going up since the jump. We don't have any bears on the set today. All I got is bulls. All I got is bulls because we are in a bull market in stocks. We're in a bull market in crypto, and we're going to talk about the charts. Let's pull them up, Amanda.
God. It's just been nonstop. So when we were here last week, that was when Ripple announced that chances are they're going to win this little struggle. And then yesterday, later in the day, they announced that there could be a settlement offer on the table. And what did you say? You're like, since when does the SEC settle with somebody? I was like, oh, snap, that's a good point. And oh, wait, I got a screen share. Here I am going off without you because this has been nuts. So we saw, when we were here last week, we saw everything just scream up, right?
Yep.
Scream up. And can you see my screen?
I can.
Okay, cool. Now, one thing was Ripple just lit it up. So this was us last week. This is during this day. Now that great big candle, a couple great big candles.
Juicy, one of the juicy.
Oh, crazy. And then it pulled back, but it's been growing ever since. And when I look at this, I'm like, wow, it's coming back. And you told me some interesting news that I didn't even recognize.
Well, we have a lot of American members in our community, and they have been dying to buy Ripple, okay? To the point where they've been asking me if I could buy Ripple for them, and I never felt comfortable doing it. I was like, I don't want to buy Ripple for anyone else but myself, right? So I was just always like, no, wait, you can buy it yourself. Well, the second that Ripple put out the news, and the news kind of came out that they are going to be no longer listed or concerned or discussed or mentioned as a security by the SEC, Ripple exploded. And then Coinbase, Kraken, Crypto.com, and other exchanges immediately allowed customers to start buying Ripple.
Nice. Well, it looks to me like
that is the most bullish thing that could have happened for crypto. Just happened for crypto. It's the most bullish thing that could have happened for Ripple. Just happened for Ripple. And it's the most bullish thing that could have happened for Stellar Lumens, which has a very similar technology to Ripple. And you can see that Ripple is on fire, Stellar Lumens is on fire, Bitcoin and all cryptocurrencies are starting to catch bids because this is huge for the entire industry. When the SEC, that's usually getting paid, is now being forced to settle because Ripple had to spend $200 million in legal fees.
Yeah.
$200 million.
Crazy.
Just to prove that they're not a security. And look at that chart. So they initially exploded with all the enthusiasm, all the excitement. And then all the sellers that have been waiting to sell Ripple came out. And now it's going back up. And I believe that we may never see these prices again. I think there's a very good chance we may never see these prices again for Ripple.
Very well could be, because the only thing that was holding them back was Americans not being able to buy them. And okay, so last week you told everybody, you were like, okay, if you can't buy Ripple and you're American, just buy XLM, Stellar
Lumens, buy Stellar.
And it looks like they listened because, like, look how much Stellar's up, 22.6%.
22% on the day alone. Yes. And they went up 100% and so did Ripple the day
Right.
of the news.
But I'm saying they're just spiking so much faster. So this is all signs of, the start of a nice, good, healthy bull market. Because
Yes.
we need catalysts like this to get us going.
Yes.
And there's some obscure coins that I don't even remember why they're even on my list. Like this one, Rev, 28%. There was another one that was like big gains too. These are like coins that are likely so obscure, having great big runs. So
Hey, bring it.
yes. And like, I like seeing the SEC get destroyed because
Whoa. You didn't just say that.
not a financial advisor, SEC, you know who you are.
The SEC stands for the Securities and Exchange Commission, in case anybody didn't know. But, we have nothing against anybody or any entity or any institution. Remember that Rich TV Live is strictly for information and education purposes. Please do your due diligence, do your research before you invest in anything we talk about or discuss. And remember that past performance is not always an indication of future results.
That's it. But speaking of past performance, before we talk about anything else, holy crap, Carvana.
My 10th pick for my top 10 for July 2023 has been an absolute rocket, up 31% today. New IPO. We brought you guys this pick. We've been talking to everyone about our community. It's already up like 100% since its IPO day. It's been an absolute rocket.
Yeah, it's just on fire. So I think it was July. Let's go here. So yeah, like 120% if you bought it doing your top 10 video. Props. And, we had someone in our group saying, and this was a while back, like this was way back when Carvana was like $25-ish. And this member said, well, where do you think it could go to? And I said, well, it looks like there's a pretty strong resistance around $50. Well, it seems that just blew itself out of the water.
Resistance has been busted, folks.
Honest to goodness. I was like, wow.
In a market melt up, resistance is futile. Do you understand me?
That's right.
Resistance is futile.
So this speaks though to where the market is, and we'll get into why we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about. But I called today, July 19th, because that's what it is, last week of bliss, because it's about to get real ugly by this time next week.
Yeah, I agree with you. We've been in a market melt up all year. You can't think this is going to last forever. And typically when the market is this hot and nothing is slowing down and everything is melting up, from gold to oil to stocks to crypto, everything's been going up. Real estate's going up too. Everything's going up. Eventually that can't continue forever, correct?
Correct.
We saw that last year, did we not?
We've saw this many times. This like what goes up, because you're not an investor unless you put some in your pocket. And if any investor or hedge fund or institution is going to pad their pockets, they're going to have to take some. And that's going to bring the price down. And right now, we're a week away from a rate hike. And we haven't seen one in a couple months.
That has been one of the biggest catalysts, is the fact that we have not seen a rate hike, and there was a pause. And because of that pause, there was this little gap between rate hikes where the market was euphoric. Well, guess what? Powell is going to be speaking next week, and we know he's going to bring the rates higher again, because inflation's still at 3%, and he says he's not going to stop until it gets to 2%. Now, if he shocks the world and says, well, we're at 3%, probably going to go to 2% anyways, and doesn't do a rate hike, the markets will explode.
True story. However, I mean, It's not just us that thinks that this is definitely going to happen.
The market was just green all day. How did we go from green to red? What just happened? Did Powell just speak? Did Biden speak?
No, everyone's starting to get scared, I think. But
they realize everything's at all-time highs. Everything's at all-time highs.
I know. But you said something interesting. What did you say before we came on live? You said there was a record influx of money into these all-time highs.
Yeah, there's been 20% more money influx coming into trading accounts than selling. So 20% more buying than selling going into trading accounts. Banks are reporting this, institutions, organizations like Coinbase, like people are going back to trading because they realize there's a great opportunity to make money because everything's up. So people are chasing the green once again. And we've seen that over the last 30 days. People are going back in and they're chasing green.
Yeah.
In stocks and crypto.
Yep. And you have to start watching like the meme stocks as well. But honestly, I'm watching the Russell 2000 and it's looking healthy to me. Like it's looking really healthy. And I mean, even just thinking about stocks that are on like the small cap list, like let's go back to the AI list. Like we just saw AI, C3 AI on its way back to highs here. Like definitely on its way back to that 47 to $50 high before it pulls back again. Palantir blasted through its last resistance on its way, got to God knows where now, because it busted straight through last resistance. Then we have this one. How about ICAD?
Monster.
So yes, we talked about ICAD just in May. Do you remember?
I do.
I told you this was the breast cancer detection AI.
It's been going crazy.
Over 300%. Ow!
Beast.
So knowing that this is what a healthcare AI stock could do, one that hasn't gone yet is HSCS. And I think it's time to pay attention to this one because that's it's for detecting cardiac events.
This is a beautiful move in the market right there for ICAD, guys. Beautiful.
Absolutely gorgeous. Just absolutely gorgeous. So keep your eyes peeled for this one because they're similar and they will have a similar market share. And they've already done this year, is come from this level all the way up to $4. They've done this multiple times. But these guys are doing AI for ECGs. It's on.
Okay.
So electrocardiogram. So any person in all of North America, if you have chest pain, you have to get an ECG. It is like the most widely used test in North America. And they made an AI thing. So watch it close because when it blows, you're going to be like, oh, that's kind of like ICAD. They'll be like, that's the one. So
HSCS, you're comparing it to ICAD?
Yes.
Really? Okay, I'm writing it down. I'm writing it down.
Yeah.
I like it when you find these types of diamonds in the rough. Gets me excited.
Well, ICAD is AI detecting breast cancer, and HSCS is AI detecting heart problems.
Cool. Very
so
good.
I think this could be worth a heck of a lot more.
Let's go.
Because there's a higher incidence of heart attacks and strokes than there is of breast cancer. So yeah, watch closely for it because I think they have big news coming up. So yes, not all is lost. We just saw what ICAD can do. So you can too. All right. Now, Bitcoin.
My precious.
She's
I don't like Bitcoin, guys. I just got a huge Bitcoin on my desk.
Right?
I don't like Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin.
Same. Totally same. It's become my life. And besides that, it's struggling. But that's not a drama. That just means that you get to pick more up.
I'm watching it on my iPad right now. While we're doing our show, I'm watching the price of Bitcoin.
Nice, as you should.
Yeah.
So, I mean, where's it going to go to? We just had this convo where you were like, oh, last time we went down to 15. We're only going to have 2 rate hikes. And I was thinking about this pretty intensely. And I was thinking, I think this first one is going to be the most dramatic. And after that, it won't be so bad. So that's really only a week away. I think we're going to have like a big panic drop. And then people are going to say, oh, that's not so bad. There's only one more. And everyone's just going to grin and bear it. So I think that this sale coming up in the next week is probably going to be like the biggest we're going to see, like the biggest we're going to see for a long time. Because then they're just going to start talking hope.
But don't you think there's going to be one more rate hike?
Yeah, but I think the market's going to just spin the talk and say, oh yeah, well, it's only going to be one more. So they'll, the second one won't be as traumatic. Because when the second one comes, they're just going to be like, this was it.
Possible.
So
I don't know. My own opinion is that the market is way overbought. We're heavily in a market melt up. I've seen Facebook go from $80 to 300 plus, Apple's at all-time highs, Microsoft's at all-time highs. We're seeing all-time highs across the board, right? So my opinion is there's going to be another rate hike. It'll take the market down. It'll create volatility until the next meeting where they'll do another rate hike where they'll probably take the market down again, create volatility.
Yeah, they'll take it down again, but not as low as this next one, I think.
Yeah, you're right. But I just feel like these next two rate hikes over the next 6 to 8 weeks is going to create a lot of downward momentum and volatility because the market needs it.
It does. It needs a breather.
It can't just keep going up. Like people are jumping in and buying momentum. It's not a good way to invest.
No.
Let's be real, right? Yeah. That's how everybody lost money last year because they were chasing the tops in 2021. I'm calling a sell, okay?
Yes.
I'm calling a sell. When you see the Dow Jones go to 35 and reject, like we saw today, that's a sell, folks. Like this is the time to sell all your stocks. I'm sorry. If you're buying right now, you're doing it wrong.
Exactly.
I'm calling it. Remember, I'm strictly for information and education purposes. I've been selling all year. I'm not buying right now. I've been selling.
You've been buying all year and selling because as have I.
No, I haven't been doing much buying at all this year. Most of the buying was done last year.
You're not buying because you have been.
No, most of my buying was last year. I've done no buying this year. I've just been selling.
Okay.
I know. I have not been buying anything. I've been selling, right? Holding some stuff, holding all my crypto, but selling my stocks at highs. I've sold Shop this year. I've sold AT&T this year. I've sold Apple this year. I've sold Tesla this year. I've sold Amazon this year. I've sold Google this year. I mean, I've sold SoFi. I've sold BT. That's 8 stocks that I've just mentioned that I've sold this year.
Yeah.
I've not bought anything. These were all bought last year because everything was down, and that's when I was buying. And this year I'm selling because everything is up, but I'm not selling my crypto because I feel like crypto is going to go higher.
Well, yeah, I think we just need a healthy breather first. So, I mean, I think it's going to come and land somewhere between this 26 and 28,000. We're going to see a test of those levels. And we need that because, people are seeing it's a little bit tired at 30,000. There's a bit of a struggle there. You need that healthy pullback, which is completely normal. After every single spike, we see a healthy pullback.
Well, I mean, it was at 15,000 in November, right?
Exactly.
So 30,000 is a double.
Right. So we're going to see a healthy pullback and people are going to start panicking. And then it's going to make the pullback worse. And then the smart people are going to buy it back up. So, it's going to land in here somewhere. So I don't think it's a drama. I think it's much needed. And we need a lot of reentries. But this is a market where we have to stay fluid and move with it. So anyways, Ethereum, same story, really. I mean, it's great and healthy that it came back to previous support levels. These previous support levels were levels from, like you said it yourself, our last bull market.
I love Ethereum. That's my number 2 cryptocurrency. So full disclosure, I own Bitcoin and I own Ethereum. So, don't go out and just buy Bitcoin and Ethereum because I'm talking about it. I do own them, right? So obviously I'm going to say I love them. Don't just go and buy them because I said so. But I'm telling you right now, Bitcoin is the largest crypto. Ethereum is number 2. And then after those 2 right now, I have to put Ripple and XLM. I think if you're in those 4 right now, you're sitting very, very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that right now? You want to buy some crypto? You get in those 4 right now, you're going to go for a nice ride.
I think it's going to get pretty healthy because we just know there's some big momentum that's been held back, and all those people, and you know what can happen when someone's been told that they can't do something and all of a sudden they can, the flood's going to come. So
all of Americans have not been able to buy Ripple for 3 years. Now they're buying it. Little by little, they're starting to buy it.
So heavy off that dip. But like, look at Ethereum. So here was the beginning of the last bull market. And then look where we're just coming up to now. So yeah, we need a healthy pullback for that push over. But once we push over, it's go time.
I agree 100%.
So we talked about Carvana already. Like,
can you just give us your Bitcoin price prediction for the rest of this year? Because I agree with you. I want to hear what you say.
Oh, what do I think for the rest of this year for Bitcoin?
Yeah, where do you think it's going to go to?
I think between 45 and 50,000.
Woo! I love it. That's music to my ears, baby. Listen, we're at 30,000. If it goes to 40 to 50,000, folks, don't forget where you heard it, okay? Because I'm telling you, we've been talking about Bitcoin, and I'm going to continue to say this because we don't get enough credit for this. But I've been talking about Bitcoin on YouTube since 2017 when the price was $1,000. Today we're at $30,000. That's a 29x, all right, since 2017. All the videos are there on YouTube for you to go and review. And Ethereum, when we started talking about Ethereum, it was at $30. It's at $1,900.
Crazy, right?
The videos are on YouTube. I sometimes go back and I have to pinch myself. I'm like, oh my goodness. I was talking about these things. They're at $1,000 and $30. And now one's at 30,000 and the other one's at 1,900. And people are still asking me if they're a good buy. Oh.
Unreal, right? It's like they just want to see it explode. And then when it comes to the top, they're going to be the ones holding it all the way to the bottom of the next bull market.
Reynolds Heavy Duty is predicting. Sorry, Amanda. Reynolds Heavy Duty in the group chat is predicting. Shout out to Reynolds. Shout out to everyone that's in the group chat that's on YouTube that's messaging. 50,000 Reynolds is predicting for Bitcoin.
Yeah, I think.
Let's go.
I really think easily. We have a lot of catalysts coming up, and just the way it's growing. And then, you know, this is that next area that we should be living in. So let's go. Yeah, Carvana. I mean, we busted through resistance. Like, I don't know how big your cojones are. Mine, I'd be taking profits, but you know, crazier things have happened. Okay, I had to resurrect these 2 little tiny ones because
drone deliveries.
Yeah, FLT.
Nice. I haven't seen this one in a while.
I know.
All right.
But the alarm came off. So I had an alert on them and my alert went off and I was like, oh, you do look ripe. So this is the zone that likes to give us that 50. So wanted to say that.
I like it. I like the way you're thinking.
That's right. These guys.
So our strategy and Amanda's strategy, which is extremely sound, is that stock market's on fire, crypto's on fire, small caps have not been on fire. So what's going to be next is small caps will catch fire. I think it's brilliant. Everything crashed last year. Small caps got decimated. So they're all set up now to go back up. That's the game, guys.
Yeah.
You're either bankrupt or you're going to go back up. That's it. So now's the time to start really looking carefully for those opportunities because we're going to start to see small caps go up 100%, 200%. Some are going to go up 500%, 1,000%. It's coming in small caps for stocks and crypto. Mark my words. And when it happens, don't say we didn't warn you because that's why we do this.
Exactly. People are like, oh, it's so low. But you're like, yeah, but you clearly don't know what they could do. And so when in doubt, zoom out. And that's the only way you'll see it. But I mean, these last two have been super juicy bumps. So anyways, I set an alarm. It went off. So now I'm looking closely. Now this guy, Everyday People Financial, I've actually wrote it a couple times this year.
Really?
So these guys benefit from Canada Bank's rate hikes. And that's what's been happening because they are a small Canadian bank, mostly online, but they're convenient and they get paid. So there's nice bumps from these levels. Like
Speaking of banks, banks have been reporting very, very strong. And that's why we've seen
they just got a little ding.
Yeah, we've seen a huge run in banks this week because they've been reporting very strong. And why would banks be reporting strong, Amanda? You know why.
Because they were trading high. They got all your money, they invested it, and they just made bank.
It's not just that. They were making no interest.
Right.
Now they're making interest again. So banks are starting to make money again because they're making
Exactly.
interest.
That's right.
Imagine that. They were giving away free money.
And the only reason that Goldman got dinged was because they lost too much in commercial real estate. Did you see that? It was the commercial real estate that took them down.
Yep.
We warned on that as well. So
You're on
as
top
long as
of
their
it.
exposure was
You're on
limited
top
to
of it.
that. So, but they'll be fine because they also have exposure to Bitcoin. So they will survive. Now, I want to talk about Brinks because it's looking good. And Brinks seems to do well every summer. So had to bust this baby out. It looks like it's got a good 40 in it. Revenue's growing again and weak dividend. But I like the look of Brinks. And being like the end of summer stock, I think it's a goodie. All right, Coinbase. Kathy Wood took a bunch of profit, but we have to remember that she was averaging down from the beginning. So I don't really think that it affected the stock at all because there wasn't even a pullback.
Coinbase has secretly been a huge winner this year. I mean, look at that.
Right.
It's gone from like $40 to 100 in a very short period of time, just like crypto.
Exactly. But be very careful when you're hyping in at these levels because you can see a last pump, but you have to remember that this time next week, the sky will be falling. Just saying that. Not a financial advisor.
But remember, one of the reasons why I'm very bullish on Coinbase is that all of those institutions that are applying for Bitcoin spot ETFs want to use Coinbase as custody for all of their Bitcoin. That is just massive for Coinbase. And they're doing that in the face of the Coinbase being sued by the SEC.
Yes. So if we can see Coinbase get pulled back on a profit level, because there's going to be institutions that are up 100% on it, that want to pad their pockets, that should pull it down, bring some panic in the market. If we can tap like a $75 Coinbase, I think we will be proud of that for a very long time.
Okay.
So now you were talking about Hood. They didn't really seem to go through too much crap. I actually thought with all the drama that was happening that they were going to get like murdered.
That chart looks like such a beautiful trend reversal pattern.
Yeah, it does.
Like this is one of the stocks that has huge upside.
It does.
Just like how Coinbase went crazy, Hood also has cryptos. So you have to assume that Robinhood is going to get an influx of buying coming in. It's going to be strong earnings in the next couple quarters, and you're going to see it go back up, and it's already started.
Yes,
it's already started.
It has, and a strong momentum.
Like very strong momentum. Strong. This could easily go back to $20, $30. I think there's a great trade opportunity here. Great trade opportunity. There's a lot of stocks that are really high. This is not one of them yet. No. So this is one that I'm very interested in.
Yeah. And, you know, I wasn't for a while, but I wanted to see how they survived. And they seem to have survived. So like we talked about, if you can survive the bear market and come out looking pretty decent, then you can brush yourself off. And it looks like they are. So Amazon, I really like that trade. Amazon's next earnings is going to be mind-boggling. Did you see how many billions that they sold during their Amazon Prime days?
Man, I've been talking about Amazon for over a year, you know, and I sold my Amazon, took profits, and it's just going higher now like everything else. I mean, Amazon's just one of those strongest, biggest companies in the world. And we're in a market right now where if you're a great company and you're making money and you've got a good, strong business, you're going to do well. And that's where we're
not
at.
only that, they're reporting on the 27th.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's reporting right now. It's the reporting season.
But they're 8 days away from reporting. And not only that, just before that, they get to announce that they've sold multiple, like double-digit billions during their Amazon Prime days. 2 days.
You know, Tesla's reporting today after close.
Is it today?
It's today after close.
Nice.
So that's going to be huge for the market too, because if they report strong, then we're going to see Tesla go back above $300.
That's actually what most, like all the rest of our day today is about electric vehicles because of Tesla reporting.
Yeah.
If that does well, I think we're going to see all the small guys and the guys that go with it go crazy.
I agree. And they've already started to go crazy as Tesla has been going crazy. They've been going crazy. So it's been a great run for electric vehicle stocks recently. Like a great run.
Yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about. And then the last section that we're going to talk about today is actually going to be a lot of American and a couple Canadian grocers because they've done well throughout inflation because they actually got away with raising their prices and putting more money in their pocket. And that was a big thing during inflation. So I think this is a good last pump for the grocery stores coming up. Anyways, BYD, write this on your list. These guys, these next ones are either electric vehicles, batteries for electric vehicles, and chargers for electric vehicles. But all ones that I think have wicked potential, and a lot of them are in that zone that you like, that like $30 to $60.
Yeah. That's the sweet spot.
Auto, I think is gonna beast out this year. Like beast out.
This is a new one for me.
Yeah, they're China based, but China's got, you know, some things like this by the cojones. They have the market cornered on some of these levels. So anyways, Lee, definitely look into them because I have, and I think they're looking pretty damn good. ON is semiconductors, but look at them.
What a monster.
Yeah, but it's only at $100. So like, that's still pretty damn good. Anyways, and then look at Citigroup adjusts their price target to 118. So they see them flying clearly. So, I mean, they're getting like an 18% boost on that. Okay, this guy, I want them. I want XPeng.
This chart setup is beautiful too. Beautiful trend reversal pattern. Huge upside with a tight float. These guys have a very tight float too. I think they have a very, I don't know if you've seen the share structure, but I believe they have a tight float.
Yes. 668 million.
Okay, it's not as tight as I thought.
Giant in China. Giants. And China has the largest EV market in the world. Giant. You got to look at XPeng. Like absolute giant. And being that they're only $14, they're half the price of Rivian. And they're a giant. So if you haven't done your DD on them, please do. Because they have like a bright future as far as I'm concerned. But I was hoping for a pullback. Like I literally thought they were going to come down, like at least to this $12 mark. Nah, they didn't even breathe. Like it just keeps going. So I'm not in yet, but I'd like to be. But I mean, Rivian's looking pretty decent as well. I think they're going to have a little pullback, but not a very big one. We have some drama coming, right?
I've been watching Rivian like a hawk, and I really wanted to get into Rivian, and I just could not do it at these prices. I'm just like, everything is so high.
No,
I'm not doing it. I'm waiting. I'm waiting for a dip, but I like them. I'm
telling myself the same. I'm waiting for that Powell sale. When Powell busts that sale, even though it feels like it's not going to happen, it's so close.
Yeah, it's next week.
Yes.
So yeah,
like
I mean,
sitting on your hands like, oh my God, can I wait one more week? But you can do it. So can I.
Yep.
So I like these guys. Do you know this one? AEHR. Check
The
them out.
stock sounds familiar, but I don't know it too well. Like I've seen the symbol around.
Okay. Semiconductors for electric vehicles, but they have a special technology.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I was actually thinking it was quite interesting. Only 26 million in the float, speaking of tight floats. So that's why they're rocketing. Only 26 million in the float on the NASDAQ.
I love that float.
Yes. And they have a healthy business. So they just went crazy. So since what, a year ago, they were at $6.
Wow.
And they just pumped over $50. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's almost a 10x.
Yes, but I read good things about them. So it seems that they have some rocket fuel in them.
Wow.
Just, I was excited about these ones. Excuse me.
I hate it when I miss a 10x. That really bothers me.
I know, but there's another one. I was digging deep because I think, just like I think that when the presidential election campaigns come out, Bitcoin is going to be a big highlight of them. So is electric vehicles. Because they're using it as their
did you hear what Kennedy came out and said?
What?
He came out and said that if he becomes president, he will have the US dollar backed by Bitcoin.
Yes, I know.
Wild, oh my goodness. I was like, wow.
Yes.
Can you imagine?
Yes, I can imagine.
The US dollar backed by Bitcoin? Backed by digital gold? Imagine that. Oh man, that gets me excited because I got a big ass Bitcoin over here and I also got Bitcoin in my wallet.
Honestly, and there's a lot. So have you been following EVgo? Speaking of EVs.
I have, yes. It's on my watch list.
They were pretty much dead. They seem to be coming alive again. They seem to be putting out news and they have a pretty good near future. So
EVGO.
Yes.
EVgo.
US based.
EVgo.
So I think right now with the big push for EVs, and there's a lot coming through. I remember there's going to be a lot of electric vehicles announcing deliveries because there was wait lists that were 2 years long.
Yes.
2 years ago.
Yes.
Those are going to be filled real soon. And we're starting to see other EV companies starting to fill these orders. So I think that it's going to pump all these guys up. I just think that's what I think the big catalyst is going to be is around the presidential elections. And that's all I see is Bitcoin and EVs.
Well, we got about a year for the elections, right? So they're going to be happening in the fall of next year. So we've got about a year and a bit. And I agree with you. And the market's already starting to take off. So it's going to be an interesting ride. It's definitely going to be a wild ride. That's for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's best, we want to be in before the ride starts getting wild. And I think if economically exactly that's going to happen, politically that's what's going to happen, because that's what they're all talking about, then we have to grab these before, because once they start creeping up, we won't be able to catch them. So myself, while I'm trying to sit on my hands and not buy anything until the power rollback, I don't know. It's trying to pick through which ones are your favorites. But I did buy these two. I own Wallbox and Blink.
Okay.
I had to get some Wallbox. After I saw what they did on their last little scream, I had to. So I picked up this dip on Wallbox. I'm in.
Nice.
I'm going to ride that baby out.
Yeah, looks like you got a good entry there.
Yes, I think it did. Because look at just to that little resistance area, there's a 50 in there.
Yeah, chart looks good.
Yes. And Blink. So I got Blink over a week ago. Just over a week ago. So it's been a little boring, but it's waking up. So again, there's a lot in there. A lot in there. EVs, it's waking up. Okay. HYLN, that's my little new gift. Check it out. Do your own DD on it. It's called Highland. Check them out yourself. I think you'd be impressed. And these are parts for lithium ion batteries, much needed and American based. QuantumScape, again, huge upside on these guys. So they're in the EV business. They're sitting at $10 right now. At 133 was their high in the bull market. Not so bad, hey?
Yeah.
Like these guys. Okay. And just one more, Magna International. They only have a 3% dividend, but still not so bad.
Hey, 3% is good. It's not 30% like COMT, but it's still,
exactly.
yeah, it's still good.
Yeah, you're almost even on your COMT, yeah?
Speaking of that, oil has been rocking. I hope you're not sleeping on oil. Oil has been rocking after being down all year.
No.
Money is now starting to flow back into oil, folks. Don't sleep on oil. Amanda's been talking about oil stocks too. She's on top of it.
Oh yeah, we talked about them big last week because it, I mean, it was time and they've been going up. So we want to get them before they go up. So we talked about it and it is. So here's what's happening. We need to set ourselves up because a lot of these stocks that have rocketed are going to have pullbacks because people get scared when there's interest rate hikes. And when this happens, all the bad news bears come out and there's going to be fear and panic in the market. And what happens when people get scared to lose their money? They go to places like Costco and they buy all the toilet paper that they can find in the world.
Buy in bulk, buy a bunch of food in bulk, buy a bunch of your groceries in bulk, buy your clothing in bulk, buy your everything, your water in bulk, your beverages, everything in bulk. So that you can save money. In fact, I've been hearing a lot of people talk about Costco. So I think that's a great trade idea.
It is. And, you know, normally I would say it's too high, but no, it's not because it's Costco. And if we're going to have this like next 6 months of people being worried of rate hikes and trying to save their money, these next stores are the ones that should benefit most because they're the bigger wholesale group kind of purchasing. Oh, I meant to put Groupon in here. Anyways, you heard it.
GRPN. Well, you should put Groupon because they're on fire today.
So I meant to put Groupon and then I forgot to.
Just add them, GRPN. Guys, Groupon, another GRPN.
There we go. I meant to. They were on my list. I just didn't get a chance.
Groupon on fire today, guys. Look at that, up 7%. It was up 20% at one point.
But this is the whole thought process around why Groupon's on fire as well. Because people are looking to save when things get high. So they'll do those things and purchase these programs that will save them some extra dollars.
Makes sense.
They'll go to the lower price stores, right?
Yep.
So yeah.
Looking for deals.
Exactly.
Instead of shopping at Louis Vuitton, they're shopping at Winners.
That's right. But I mean, these are the things that we're going to be able to pick up. Like if you're buying the bottoms of these, and then they're going to make that extra revenue in this next quarter when they're trying to save money and they're stocking up, like Rich TV said, then that's where we make our money. So these are good opportunities, even when the market looks scary. So is Walmart. I mean, it just is always going to keep going higher. So can't even show you the chart. It just always goes high. Okay, Kraft. Kraft should usually make some decent coin at the end of summertime. Because for the same reason as every other fast food companies is the parents aren't home and the kids are eating a lot of Kraft dinner.
People are eating Kraft dinner in the summer. I never even thought about that.
It's
kids are at home making Kraft dinner while their parents are at work in the summer.
Yeah. And all those other Kraft products and jam and microwave food and they make all that stuff that's killing everyone. So, but either way, that's the time they profit. So speaking of these dips and rips that it has, I'm trying to pull up my measuring tape here. It's just it's a goodie. So it should be like 25-ish% out of that. Not so bad. 4.5% dividend just for hanging out. So
I like the dividend. That's for sure.
Right. If you're going to hold that for 6 months and get that nice, you know, interest rate rip off of it, it's a goodie. Dollarama never stops. Like it just never stops. but it's only at $88 a share. So I think it's still got a ways to go. Dollar General, look at this chart. Dollar General was up at 260. It pulled back because inflation was cooling. Everybody thought all was well. But now that inflation is going to be going back up, you see the upside?
Oh, it's crazy. It looks so cheap right now.
That's why I pulled that up, because like here's Dollarama, just like had been rocketing.
People are not going to go to the dollar store less. If anything, they're going to be going to the dollar store more.
That's right. And so then you had Dollar Tree, some upside, but Dollar General, redonkulous upside.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to be putting a little marker beside that one. I like that one.
Yeah, I think so. When you're comparing the two, I mean, just percentage wise, there's a lot left to go in that. And like, these are the stores too that people are going to in the summer when they're camping. Like, do you remember going camping? You always buy all that extra stuff.
Yep.
Extra candles, extra gas, extra charcoal, extra fruits and vegetables and craft products. And the grocery stores are pretty freaking busy. People are always barbecuing. These are the kinds of things that bring in big revenue.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. And then when you have high prices in the grocery stores, and one thing that I wanted to say that I think was really important for this time of year is that we're still going to see from grocery stores another big earnings pump, because the grocery stores, there was a lot of news reports. I don't know if you remember, but there was a lot of news reports that were saying the grocery stores are raising the prices on all their items, but they probably didn't have to. And then, you know, there was a lot of controversy that they were, you know, pocketing that extra money, and they were.
Sounds about right.
Right. But that means it's just going to show up on their earnings. And as long as you're buying them, then you can make some extra money to make up for the fact that you overpaid for your grapes. That's how you do it. There's a lot of upside in Target.
I think Target is such a juicy buy. It's right at a bottom.
Yeah.
Like literally right at the bottom.
It is. And it's looking crazy. 3.36% that you get paid just for holding and waiting. But it's time for the Target. Again, it came down because people didn't care about saving money, but 2 more rate hikes. And
well, it went down for more reasons than that. I think you're forgetting.
Yeah, it did. People were out blowing cash again. But
well, no, Target went down because they had a whole issue with having, how do I say this? They had an issue with customers boycotting their store because they had different gender issues with clothing in their store.
Right, the pride stuff.
So people just boycotted them for a while and the stock tanked, which is an amazing buying opportunity. It reminds me of when Facebook went down because of the metaverse and everybody said, including you, Facebook was garbage and Facebook was dead and Facebook was done and it'll never come back. And Facebook is all these horrible things. And now Facebook goes up 300%.
I know.
And now Facebook is like back to 52-week highs and back over $300 and one of the hottest stocks in the world.
Doesn't mean I like them. I just focused my attention on other things. But yeah, Facebook did really.
But that reminds me of Facebook, how they went down on bad news, right? And it's going to create a buying opportunity, guys. Target's too good to fail.
Yeah.
And they're not going to fail. And that's why that's a buying opportunity. Just like Facebook was too big to fail. I was saying that in this seat last year when they were struggling and everyone was saying they're going to go to zero because they're going into the metaverse. And I'm like, they're not going to let the metaverse take them to zero.
Yeah.
They let them take them down to $80. Then they changed course, which was smart. And now they're a $300 stock
again. Fair enough. So,
and I know you never like looking at them, even though the stock is up nonstop.
Yeah, but I mean, I just don't want to get people excited about things that are already at highs when they can focusing on ways to make money instead of being worried that it could pull back on you.
For sure. And that's a smart way to do it too. I'm just saying, do not sleep on stocks that are on fire too. because sometimes these hot stocks would just keep going higher.
So anyways, speaking of pullbacks on stocks that keep going higher, BJ's Wholesale. These guys are a big one in the US. And there's a pretty big upside on these guys. And again, they're like the go-to during the camping times and these days. Okay, look at this. These guys they've already been creeping up, but they make their biggest money because they're all across the US farmers markets.
Nice.
And this is summertime. So their next earnings is going to be redonkulous. So look at their last earnings. So Q4 2022, and then bam. You see that?
Yep.
So anyways, considering that it's going to be the last Q of summer, they're going to be pretty juicy. So don't say I didn't warn you on that. It's only $38. Village Supermarket. Huge upside in this one. And big US supermarket, 4.3% dividend. So I think these ones are, the kinds that, again, I'd hold for those 2 rate hikes. When people are looking to save the money, they're going to these guys to save the money. So getting a dividend is nice. It's a high interest savings account.
Can I add a couple picks to your list?
What?
Can I add a couple picks to your list?
Yeah, in a minute.
Yeah, so just run through them and then give me a few minutes to give you those, okay?
Yeah, totally.
Awesome.
Loblaws. This is in Canada.
Love Loblaws.
Yeah, but they don't stop. Like they don't ever dip.
They're a monster food chain. I mean, they're everywhere. They're all across Canada.
This is how they went up with inflation. As inflation went up, that's what they did. So
they're like the Target. They're like the Target of Canada. They're kind of like the Target of Canada.
Yeah, pretty much. Again, speaking of that, Metro was the same. So Canadian grocers have been freaking monsters.
Wow, look at that chart, eh?
Yes. So that's back to profiting. They profit when inflation goes up. When interest rates go up and inflation. So they're killing it. And Canada just did 2 more hikes. So their next are going to be even better. But so these guys, the Northwest Company, they're pretty much similar to Loblaws and Metro, only they're in US. So they have a bunch of different grocery stores and they're called the Northwest Company. Their chart just looks ripe to me. Like when you're just looking at levels, it looks like it's been respecting the support for a long time and it's at that juicy bounce level. So 4.8% dividend. Pretty good for something that you're going to hold for a few months.
I like those dividends.
I know. And then it's NNWWF in the US. And I don't know why, but all day today, this one was up 6%. And then the Canadian one was only up 0.6. It was like, ooh, interesting. Okay, I'm just going to go through these 3 and then I'm going to get into yours. Because this one I thought was super juicy.
Right.
Only a 2% dividend, but it's called Weiss Markets. They have how Kensington Market is.
Yep.
It's like that all year long. That's what they are.
I love it.
Yes. And
it's like year-long flea markets.
Pretty much. And they're all across the US and they do really well in the summer. So considering they just had this dip to trend line, $64. The last high was $96. This to me is like my juiciest of the grocers in the US. Because these are where I think we can take a nice pump on the Powell Little Rock out. All right, second last but not least, grocery outlet holdings. These guys have a pretty juicy chart. Their earnings have been going up, got some rate hikes. They're a discount broker or a discount grocer, and they got about 40% upside on their next peak. And they usually peak around this time. And last but not least is Kroger. 2.51% dividend on Kroger, but Kroger to me is similar to like BJ and Target. They're monsters. So nice upset on Kroger.
Beautiful.
And now, what were you going to tell me that you think is going to be good for this week?
Nkla, Nkla.
Oh, yes.
I think it's one of the hottest EV stocks right now that I've been watching very, very closely. And I think it has ridiculous potential. I think everybody should put it on their radar, put it on their watch list. They've had really good news. They just got like a $41 million government grant for EVs. So they got some big deals coming in. They got big news coming in. Look at that trend reversal pattern.
Yeah, we were looking at this last week and hoping it would pull back, but it's struggling to pull back, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm not
What's
buying it
your
because I
target
want it to
entry
pull
on
back
that?
before I buy it. I'd like to buy it under $2.
Yeah.
The next one is Fubo. I've been watching Fubo like a hawk. It's just climbing. Their revenue's growing. The revenue is over 300 million a quarter.
We talked
This is
about
what
Fubo last week on our show. Did you end up getting any?
I didn't get any, but I'm watching it. It keeps going higher. Look at it. It's up another 9% today.
Yeah, because last week, literally, Nkla and Fubo were the two that were going, and it was like, there's literally.
I know, and I didn't chase it, and it went higher. So it's another one that I'm really, really liking, and I want to get in on. And I think the chart looks ridiculous.
Well, I mean, if you're planning on staying a long time, you could always like get in, and then if it pulls back, you could just add more later and bring your.
I know, but
average
these stocks are
down.
so risky and scary for me. So these would just be a trade for me.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really looking to stay in them that long. The next one is SUNW. SUNW.
Sunworks?
Yes. Juicy chart. Beautiful chart on Sunworks.
What are these guys?
It's just another company that I've been watching very, very closely that I think has ridiculous
What
potential.
do they do?
You know what? I can't give you all those details because I haven't gone into that much, but it's a stock that I've been watching very, very closely. And I just love the chart and I love the setup and it's been going. Okay. So I think it has a lot of potential and it's one that I'm watching very, very closely. Another one is LGHL.
What is it?
LGHL. It's an electric vehicle stock.
Cool. I'm all about collecting those right now.
Lion Group Holdings. Okay. So another EV stock. These are all stocks that I'm looking to add to my top 10 because I think they're all really hot right now.
All about the EVs right now.
Yeah, and they got tons of potential. And look at the float on these guys. Ridiculously tight
740,000?
Less than 1 million shares in the float.
What?
Yeah, so these are stocks that I think have ridiculous potential.
What the hell? Jesus. $3 from $4.50.
And I got one more I want to show that we've talked about before, but I want you to put it back up. RML. Rosoro Mining.
Oh yeah, we talked about that one last week as well.
We talked about it last week, and I want to show you it hit an all-time high this week. It did sell off today, but I want everyone to know because if there's a stock that's hot, I want everyone to know. So this is Rosoro Mining. It hit 35 cents yesterday. It did sell off today, which is great. If you haven't got in, it could be a buying opportunity. They have a $1 billion settlement that they're in the process of dealing with and resolving in September. So it's been one of the hottest stocks in the world. RML in Canada, RMLFF in America. It's up 500% in the last few months. So I just want to make sure that if there is a stock that's moving, that you're aware of it. RML in Canada, RMLFF in America. I'm not telling you to buy it, but put it on your radar, put it on your watch list. If they do get this $1 billion settlement, I think the stock could run to $1.
Well, I think when we're talking about like stocks and settlements, we just saw what happened with Ripple when you want to talk about settlements.
There you go.
So, we just saw that happen. Ripple happened at the same time as RML. So, can't deny that things that bring something down doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to stay down forever. It could come back.
So we're in a market melt up, everybody. Hope you're enjoying this. Hope you're winning. If you're not winning, you're probably not watching. Thank you for watching Stocks and Stacks episode 9. Guys, if you go to our website at richtv.io, an ecosystem built by investors for investors, you can see hundreds of hours of education from Amanda and myself talking about stocks and cryptos for the last few years. And the education system and center continues to grow. We've got tons of information. We've now got tons of news. We're going to be having very large news networks that we're going to be posting news on our website with. We've got chat rooms that we're building consistently where you can go in there, get access to chats. You can go and join our website for free, or you can become a VIP member and upgrade and get access to our trade ideas 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Amanda, once again, thank you for showing us all of your amazing charts and your analysis on what's going on in stocks and crypto.
It's all about getting the green, right? It's always there. We just have to uncover the right stones, but that was awesome.
I'm telling everybody, this is the time you need to be thinking about selling. People are buying in momentum. Guys, I'm telling you right now, the market sold off today because everything was high and it sold off. So that's kind of a sign that everything is too high in a market melt up. So be smart right now. Don't be chasing things at all-time highs. Don't be chasing things at 52-week highs. And if you don't know what to do, all you got to do is join our community and we'll be able to show you guys how to navigate these markets. And Amanda, thank you for your time today. Again, in Mexico, and it's always a pleasure.
Thanks. That was awesome. Next week, we'll get it. Powell Day.
Congratulations to everybody in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, XRP, stocks all over the world, Apple hitting all-time highs, Tesla at 52-week highs, Microsoft at all-time highs. We're hitting highs everywhere, and the market's selling from the top because that's what it does. Thank you for watching Stocks and Stacks, episode 9. Your boy Rich from Rich TV Live in Vancouver, Amanda in Mexico, and we're out.
Peace.